I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
There you go. It helps if the dinghy hits the button. What's up, everybody? Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. iRacing Sprint Car Cup heading off to Phoenix, Arizona for the night number 2 of the Copper World Classic. This one, I have a feeling, is going to be a pretty darn spectacular event here. Let's pick up Mitch Drevnovsky making his way out onto the racing surface for his qualification run. Last night, an absolutely incredible show out of the Silver Crown Cup, kicking off the week of action here from Phoenix. Thomas Lewandowski picking up the race win. Tonight, Rich Foreman, first car to the top of the board, 26.103. Now Derek Love moves up into the top spot. D-Love very strong last night. Contact with Brandon Buckberger, putting him out of the race at about the midpoint. D-Love hoping to change things up tonight. Lap number 1 for Drevnovsky will be good enough for fourth quick, 26.124 seconds. Still D-Love at the top of the board. Austin Nye second quick at a 26.249. Rich Foreman finishing up his run. He's going to be third quick. Now Derek Love goes quick time, 25.929. Only car in the 25-second bracket. Jeffrey Stanton up to second on lap number 2 as Mitch Drevnovsky now moves up to position number 2. 25.973 for Drevnovsky. Stanton at a 26.077 on lap number 1. See what the 94 machine going to be able to do. Lap number 2 for Stanton will be quicker, but not quick enough. 26.105, actually just a tick slower. 26.105, the lap timer record there. 26.077 will be the number. Of note, a pile of new race cars that we have not seen here in this one here tonight. 25 laps is the distance, but remember, caution laps don't count. So if we see a lot of yellow, that could get interesting as they burn off a lot of fuel here running under the caution flag. Lap number 1 for Josh Batista will be 23rd quick. He said in the pre-race that he didn't think he had the single lap speed, But over the long run, very, very confident in that red ream rocket. See what lap number 2 will look like for Batista. And it will be good enough for 7th quick, 26.116 seconds. Seeing Jarek Evans checking in the comments. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming to hang out with us. Let's take a look here. Austin Rich Miller's on the racetrack, and everybody is done. Grid is set. It is time to go racing here for the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. Interesting to note that the lap times are very, very similar to what we saw last night in the Silver Crowns. Field starting to get themselves out onto the starting grid, and we'll pick up the number 22 of Austin Nye. With the field starting to fill in, let's take a look and show you tonight's starting grid. On the pole in the Street Side Classics, number 2 will be Derek Love with a lap time of 25.929 seconds. 44 thousandths back, Mitch Drevnovsky in the Coors Extra Gold, number 21. Cars number 1 and 2 by iRating starting on the front row here tonight. 3 and 4 will occupy row number 2. The Miller High Life Special belonging to Austin Rich Miller, lining up on the inside of the second row. To his outside, the Napa Auto Parts, Rockwell, North Carolina, number 94 of Jeffrey Stanton. Austin Nye in that red, white, and blue theme, number 22. That's a good-looking race car and a good-looking helmet, too. Love the BC sticker on that one. Honoring the late, great Brian Clausen. Starting to his outside, a man who took, quite frankly, a lot of great photos of Brian Clausen when he was still with us and absolutely tearing up the world of USAC. Rich Foreman in the Rich Foreman Photography, number 7, lining up outside of row number 3. Row 4 tonight will have Josh Batista in that red ream rocket on the inside, alongside of the buff, number 6 of Ontario, Canada's Joe Adams. William Guess out of Illinois and James Beavers in the Kroger, number 20, occupying row number 5 here tonight. Couple of newer names for us here on NRN. Laura Gerhardt in the Kibu, number 10, lining up inside of row number 6. To her outside will be the number 19 of Dan Holmes. Owen Craig out of the Northwest. Jason Ginder out of Illinois in the Flow Racing, number 11. Those cars, occupying row number 7 here tonight. Row number 8 will be Jeff Wentz in the True Value on Cue, number 9, alongside of the MGS, number 16 of John Mount. Row number 9, Matthew Ostrander in the 24, and the Sebring Special Dinner with Racers, number 83 of Victor Valley. Row number 10, Zach Morris and Eric Cox. Row 11, Tony Martin and Brendan Clough. Jason Gardner, Ronald Gibbons. On row number 12, row 13, Aaron Parsons and Jarek Evans. That will round out the field. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway, and oh, buddy, they are already dicey into turn 1. D-Love grabs the early race lead. We're going to follow this battle here with Austin Nye. He's got Joe Adams and Josh Batista just ahead. Lap number 1 is in the books, and we will get it in under green. Love, Drevnovsky, Stanton, Miller, Foreman, the top 5. And you don't want to blink. This race, if it goes caution-free, will go by in a big-time hurry. Again, only about 12 minutes or so, potentially, if it stays green. Look a little bit deeper in the pack. Matthew Ostrander, Jeff Wentz doing battle towards turn number 1. The 9 Machina Wentz may go 2 for 1. Call it a blue light special here. Zach Morris having to look to the inside. Oh, man, just up ahead. Oh, buddy, we got a battle for the race lead. Drevnovsky inside of Love through 3 and 4. At the stripe, it'll be Mitch Drevnovsky picking up lap lead number 1. We watched Brandon Buckberger and Derek Love do this for about 15 laps last night. Jeffrey Stanton was right there with them as well. Same, two of the three same names anyway, doing it tonight here in the sprint cars. You wonder how hard are these guys going to be willing to push early on here. You don't get any trophies, you don't get any points for leading at lap number 4. But that time by, it was Mitch Drevnovsky. What you will do is burn the tires off, especially the right rear on these cars. You can see how twitchy Derek Love is through the dogleg. Drevnovsky clips the apron, kind of helped that car rotate a little bit at the midpoint of the corner. But we'll still be side by side for the race lead. Go on board here with Mitch Drevnovsky. The CarQuest cage cam, but it's the new version. It's got the full pan tilt zoom head on it. We can follow along here as Derek Love going to try to make that outside lane work. Oh man, so twitchy. Drevnovsky may have the pass cleared. Well, it looked like he did off of 4. Love going to get back in line ahead of Live, already starting the tank slappers. We're only 8 laps into this show. And there's Derek Love making the look outside. Drevnovsky really has that inside lane working though through 3 and 4. As we are under caution, caution is out for the first time here tonight. Yellow flag on the speedway, and it looks like it may be trouble for John Mount. Take a look here and see what we can find going back through the incident log here. Possibly also Zach Morris getting involved in this one. Take a look at it all on the NRN replay. Oh, there's the 15. Way loose down through the grass. And that car's, wow. What a save there. Oh, but a huge hit. My goodness, Eric Cox getting into the back of one of these cars. That may have been John Mount that got sent for a ride. Take a look here. We're trying to scroll back down to the second part of the incident here. And let's take a look at this one on the replay. Keep your eyes on that 16 up on the outside of Mount. Just gets absolutely run over by the 25 of Eric Cox. Car gets hung up in the catch fence. Super no bueno. So we'll pick up your race leader, Mitch Drevnovsky. As lap number 8 is on the scoreboard. While we have a moment under caution here, I have to say a huge thank you to the guys from Turn 200 Productions. They have offered to come on board and handle the production duties for Thursday night's USF Pro Race that will be here at Phoenix. I will definitely be in the booth from the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. We may have Bizzle with us. That is a possibility, we'll say. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss the PM18s from this layout. They are going to put on an absolutely wild show in those draft-locked open wheel cars. But word about the quarter pole already here, 6 minutes in. And it's Mitch Drevnovsky who has led 5 laps. Derek Love led the first 2 circuits. But now with a single file restart, it's going to be interesting to see if Drevnovsky's able to open up a gap at all. Seeing some of the cars kind of dip down way low towards the inside of the racetrack. Derek Love doing it there specifically. Trying to, well, I'll say get a good temperature in the tires. You don't want them too cold because they don't want to turn, but you don't want them too hot either. Taking a look at the weather conditions here tonight, 80 degrees of sunshine under partly cloudy skies, 94-degree track temperature, and just a little bit of a breeze out of the northeast. Not too hot for these sprint cars, but certainly maybe might want to see things a little bit cooler. I don't think you're going to quite get that out here in Phoenix, though. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the show. Let us know where you're watching from there in the comments. We try to make this as interactive as we can. Last night, a fantastic discussion with all of our commenters. We discussed Neil deGrasse Tyson, the Wiggles, SpaceX, and breweries in Cleveland. I'm not quite sure we're going to get that interesting here tonight, but we'll see. This race could go by pretty darn quickly here as the pace car is in. Green flag goes back in the air. Oh, man. Austin Rich Miller kind of scrapes the wall, bottles everybody up back behind. They get it sorted out before they get to turn number 1. Pick up Josh Batista, Joe Adams, Austin Nye, William Guest, Johnson Ginder, excuse me. Oh, huge dive there by Guest into turn number 3. You can rip a lot of speed into the corners here, but I'm not sure that's the best way to keep the tires underneath the thing. Pick up Zach Morris. Going to work on Laura Gerhardt. He's able to complete that pass into turn number 1. Oh, in trouble for Josh Batista. There's the number 20 machine down to the inside. He's down on the apron. It looks like Josh Batista will be heading for pit lane. Actually having some pretty big connection issues, it looks like there as well. Derek Love all over the tail tank of Mitch Drevnovsky. Trying to see if we can find where the incident happened with Josh Batista. And still seeing cars scraping the outside wall. You could sort of get away with that. In the Silver Crown cars last night. With how heavy the stagger is in these things, though, I'm not sure that's a really spot-on idea. Let's take a look here. Pick up the NRN replay. See what happened to Josh Batista. Well, car just got a little bit twitchy and down onto the grass. And it took everything Batista had not to absolutely wad that thing up. Wonder if it wasn't some sort of a equipment-related issue there for Batista. As we go under caution for the second time tonight. May, let's see, potentially be an issue for Johnson Ginder. Let's take a look here and see where the caution flag is. Pick up the number 92 machine. Oh, just a little bit of twitch, too much throttle. And Ginder goes for a wild spin. Oh, it's several cars making heavy contact. Good Lord, they're wadding them up down the front stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars possibly involved in that one. My goodness. We got to take a look at that one again. Let's do it from the blimp cam, though. There's Ginder. And then it seems like everybody else just trying to slow down Wow, that was a huge flip down the front stretch. My goodness. So we'll go back to the live look here, and let's pick up your race leader, Mitch Drevnowski, as we work under the caution flag for the second time here tonight at lap number 14. Just a circuit past the halfway point. The field should get the 1-to-go signal this next time by. Well, lights are still on the iRacing safety car, so it's going to be at least one more lap before we go back to green flag racing. At the restart, it'll be Mitch Drevnowski, Derek Love, Jeffrey Stanton, Austin Rich Miller, and Rich Foreman in the top 5. 6 through 10, Joe Adams, Austin Nye, William Guest, Dan Holmes, and Zach Morris. And the lights are out on the iRacing safety car, so we will go back to green flag racing next time by. It'll be 11 laps remaining. Several cars now on pit lane. Back through 18th place, Josh Batista still on the racetrack. And of the cars that we have out now, Aaron Parsons also coming back out onto the speedway. I believe all 19 cars are on the lead lap. James Beavers in the 25th position, also on the speedway, but he is 6 laps behind the race leaders. Green flag goes back in the air. Lap number 15 will go up on the scoreboard. It's 11 to go here at Phoenix. Jeffrey Stanton may have to contend with Austin Rich Miller as Josh Batista comes around. Jarek Evans. Slide back there. The move happens off of turn number 2. But Austin Rich Miller up into the podium positions. You know what? We haven't done one of these in a little while. I'm going to stop talking for a minute. Y'all get home. Go ahead and crank it up. So Austin Rich Miller holding off Jeffrey Stanton. Let's take a look a little bit further back in the field. Pick up this kind of hornet's nest of race cars. Kicked off with a 15 of Zach Morris. He has Dan Holmes right behind. Starting to get a little bit tight back here as well as Josh Batista trying to work his way forward. Oh, buddy, that's tight through into turn number 3 on Laura Gerhardt. Wow, big twitch, big correction. Oh my goodness. Keep a hold of it, Batista. Oh, has to force Gerhardt into a little bit of a checkup off of turn 2. That may allow the 9 of Jeff Wentz to come past. Batista back up to the 12th position. Looks like about up to 8th might be doable. May need another yellow if he wants to get any further forward than that, though, as we are down to 6 laps to go in the battle at the front of the field. Derek Love, Mitch Drevnovsky separated by about a car length as they make their way off into turn 3. Mitch Drevnovsky holding off Austin Rich Miller at least. Austin Rich Miller holding off Jeffrey Stanton. Down to 5 to go. You have to wonder if Derek Love hasn't maybe burnt the stuff up ever so slightly, trying to keep up with Drevnovsky. Man, D-Love really hauls it off into turn number 1. Kind of runs a big arcing line through that corner. Gains some ground there. He's going to be outside in the battle for the lead into turn number 3. Drevnovsky able to use that inside lane to his advantage, and just absolutely no room for D-Love to attempt the crossover. At least not yet, anyway. Rich Foreman getting around Jeffrey Stanton for the 4th position. Love trying to run that inside lane that Drevnovsky's running, as they are down to 2 circuits remaining here at Phoenix. Oh, buddy, big slide for Austin Rich Miller off at turn number 4 that time. Take a look back. Rich Foreman may be able to work himself up into a podium position. Jeffrey Stanton going to be right there to capitalize if either of these guys have an issue. Foreman slides wide through 3 and 4. Stanton closes the door down to a car length. But white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Call it a 2-car length advantage for Drevnovsky to turn 1. Now he's going to run a little bit higher lane, try to keep the momentum up. Love going to get a little bit of a tow here down the backstretch. May not have anything into 3. He tries to dive, but it's not going to be there. Off of turn number 4. Checkered flag goes in the air. Mitch Drevnovsky gets the win at Phoenix. Derek Love comes home 2nd. Austin Rich Miller 3rd. In trouble for Josh Batista on the final lap. Take a look at it on the NRN replay. Oh, just several cars. Austin Nye just stopped in the middle of the racetrack. Oh my goodness. Take another look here from Austin Nye's perspective. He just hooks it into the wall. Car comes to a stop, and Batista with nowhere to go. That one was huge. As we'll go back to the live look, and we'll pick up your race winner, Mitch Drevnovsky. Parking that number 21 Coors Extra Gold machine in victory lane. Fantastic race at the front here tonight. Drevnovsky and Derek Love just could not get away from each other. Let's take a look at your race results. Drevnovsky getting the win by a 10th and change over D-Love. Austin Rich Miller coming home 3rd. Rich Foreman and Jeffrey Stanton complete the top 5. It's only about a 10th and change as well between Miller and Foreman there at the finish. 6 through 10, Joe Adams, Dan Holmes, Zach Morris, Matthew Ostrander, and Laura Gerhardt. Second page of the leaderboard. Victor Valley, Ronald Gibbons, Jarek Evans, Jeff Wentz, and Aaron Parsons back through 15th. Jason Gardner, the final car on the lead lap in the 16th position. Austin Nye, William Guest, and Josh Batista finishing 1 lap down, 17 through 19. James Beavers finishing 8 laps down in the 20th position. Johnson Ginder, 21st. Brendan Clough, 22nd. Eric Cox, 23rd. Tony Martin in the 24th position, with Owen Craig, 25th, and 26th place John Mount rounding out the field here this evening. Taking a look here, ordinarily we do this early on, but you saw we had a little bit of issues here. Mitch Drevnovsky will open up the points lead here in a 26-28 SOF over Tracy Petter, who chose not to run this race. Derek Love will gain some ground on Petter in the point standings with his finish tonight. Jeffrey Stanton and Austin Rich Miller both will improve their top 5 points positions today. Again, these point standings are entering the race here this evening. But now let's take a look here. Let's start the victory lane interviews with our race winner tonight, Mr. Austin Rich Miller. Oh my God, Mitch Drevnovsky, our race winner. I'm seeing Austin joining the booth, the waiting room. I tell you what, Mitch, fantastic drive here tonight. Congratulations on the win. It seemed like you were really able to make that inside lane through turn 3 and 4 work to your advantage and kind of just hold up Derek in whatever run he might get into turn 1. How difficult is running that dogleg here on this layout? Because it seemed like everybody had a little bit of a handful, whether you clipped that inside curbing or not. The car just seemed really twitchy on the exit of it. Yeah, and this race tonight was really sort of interesting in that we had one of the bigger fields we saw, and yet we only had a couple of cautions throughout the course of the race. Did that play out the way you were expecting, or did you think we might see a little bit more caution in this one? Well, Mitch, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Big one here at the Phoenix Raceway in the Copper World Classic. And before we let you go, do all the sponsor plugs and shout-outs you want to get in here. We're hoping so and looking forward to it, Mitchell. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming to check in with us here. And now let's get ready to bring up our second place finisher here tonight. That would be Mr. Derek Love. And this one I'm interested to kind of talk to here because Mitchell thought you were a little bit better on long run speed as opposed to the short runs. And it kind of seemed like the cautions just timed out kind of wrong for you here tonight. Was that all that really held you back? Yeah, it seemed like, and Mitchell mentioned this in his interview, that this race kind of was not necessarily what you guys thought you might get going in. Big field, a lot of guys that might be unfamiliar with the race car. Were you surprised that we only saw caution a couple of times tonight? Well, I tell you what, it was still a fun drive watching you within a car length or so most of this race. A lot of fun to watch the battle at the front, that's for sure. Derek, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming to hang out in the booth with us here for just a few minutes. And before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and shout-outs here for us. All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to check in with us here for a moment. And now it's going to be time for us to talk to our third place finisher here this evening. I believe this, let me see, there we go. I believe this is going to be the first time we get to talk to this guy in the booth. I may be wrong, but Austin Rich Miller, congratulations. A very nice podium finish. The car looked like it was really good off the trailer because started third, finished third. A lot of pace in a really strong field here at the front tonight. Yeah, that Mitch and Derek both said they were kind of surprised by that one. Did you do anything setup-wise anticipating that we might have more caution than we did? Yeah, that's the kind of long run setup philosophy that Derek had mentioned in his interview. And is that something you prefer in the race car, is to just know you're going to be good over the long run, and if it means sacrificing the short run speed, then so be it? Yeah, that's kind of maybe an understatement of the year award for you there. These things are an absolute beast. How difficult was it, especially through the dog leg and on corner exit? It seemed like everybody had a bit of a handful tonight. Yeah, that's the deciding if the juice is worth the squeeze is a big one. Man, Austin, congratulations. Nice run here tonight. And before we let you go, do any of the sponsor plugs and shout outs you want to get in here. All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate the kind words from you here. And, yeah, man, tell you what, we got off to a bit of a rocky start here with some tech issues on our end, but it was a fantastic show that the sprint cars put on here tonight. Battles throughout the field, just a great show all the way around. The iRacing Sprint Car Cup never fails to disappoint. Tomorrow is a travel day for me. I will be on my way to Daytona Beach, Florida, and the World Center of Racing for the Rolex 24 at Daytona coming up this weekend. So unless something crazy happens, no bottom split racing action tomorrow night. That will return 1 week from now. But Thursday night, we will have the USF Pro Championships coming to you here from the Phoenix Raceway, the final night of the Copper World Classic. And then next week, we're back with a full slate of racing. Kern County Raceway, Monday and Tuesday night. The Silver Crowns do battle 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Sprint Cars right back here 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss any of that action. We go from a mile oval to a basically, quarter mile bull ring, I guess it is. Kern County is a tiny little place, but should put on some pretty darn good racing action. So with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. For everybody here at the National Racing Network that gets these shows on the air, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.